going to jump straight in. What I did want to do before we jump into the top 10, because we're going to make our own definitive list. We did this before, but the fans did not hear it. What I did want to do was just whiz through our 20 through 11. It doesn't have to be in order, just so that the fans have an idea of our thinking around who the best players in the NBA are, because there is actually a lot of talent in the league right now.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
You could quite easily make a 30 or a 40, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So if we jump in, mine was in order. Made some late changes. It's controversial, but at 20, I went with Marc Gasol.
Oh, all right.
19, Blake Griffin. 18, Kemba Walker. 17, Draymond Green. 16, Chris Paul. 15, Kyrie Irving. 14, Nikola Jokic. 13, Karl Anthony Towns. 12, Jimmy Butler. 11, Paul George.
This is going to be a fucking wild pod.
Right,
okay.
crazy.
I've actually forgotten most of those guys. Most of those guys, I'm like, what?
You forgot them.
No, I'm like, some of these guys, I'm like, who? Gasol? Nah.
Kemba Walker's awfully low on your list.
I know. And he wasn't on my list for a long time. He was a late addition.
Oh,
he's not even on mine.
He was a late addition. Just to talk about it a little bit, part of why he was a late addition is you have other players on that list who have been able to, as the only star, get their team to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the only times he's been in the playoffs is when he's been with, he's had another talent on his team.
Like
Maybe
Dwight
not a
Howard
star
last
talent,
season.
but someone. He had Dwight Howard last season and missed the playoffs. So, yeah, that was a scratch on him. He has gotten a lot better this season. But even with that improvement, I think a lot of people have seen and paid attention to the highs and not to the lows.
yeah.
He's had some poor shooting games this season. And like he's sort of, as a player in that position, you can't afford to. So that's where similar talent like a Kyrie Irving I've put above a Damian Lillard I've put above.
I think we know who we're getting with what we're getting with Kemba now, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, are you going to be putting him above some of the other guys? Yeah.
Yeah, he started off season really well. He was on fire, and then now he started to taper off a bit.
Yeah.
And it's closing games. He's not closing the games. Like the game the other week, Tony Parker was closing the game.
Yeah.
And it was
100%.
And yeah, I mean, which is fine. It makes sense.
Championship DNA.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Like, seriously.
Give it to the hot hand, but you know you're the star player. You know, you're gonna get maxed
You've got
out.
to start
so
doing it. And their record in clutch situations is awful.
Yeah.
yeah.
They basically haven't won like a game on a buzzer beater. They're like 0 for 18.
Doesn't have the best team around him, though.
He doesn't. But if
be
you've
honest.
gotten it to that point where it's only one shot that's going to decide
Yeah.
the game, at some point you've got to make it.
Yeah. Anyway.
And defensively, obviously, he's not giving you much.
Yeah, Charlotte are below average defensive team, so
And he's 5'11" or whatever.
Exactly.
Soaking wet. I don't know why they say that. I've never understood it, but okay.
oh, fully
You're heavier.
hydrated.
Oh, but that's not wet.
That is
No, you're not wet because you're hydrated.
Like, if you're wearing clothes and your clothes are wet, they're heavier.
Yeah, they're heavy. That's not the same thing as what he said, though.
No.
I mean-
I'm saying
So you're saying he's wrong. Oh, I love it. Let's
the
start the
opposite.
debate here, guys.
no,
Can't even
I'm at a
agree on
disadvantage.
this.
He's a scientist, so I can't argue with him. I see what you mean.
Mike
So
is
fully
water wet.
dehydrated.
Tell the truth.
yeah. If you
Tell
have
the truth.
tell the truth.
Nobody want to tell the truth.
What is happening?
We're speaking about concussions and NFL. Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. Who's going next?
You can go, Mike.
All right. 20 to 11. Not in particular order,
Okay.
but roughly.
Cop out.
Griffin, Paul George, Clay, Kat, Gobert, Kemba, Kyrie, DeRozan, Jokic, and Butler.
Sorry, in my head I was like, he put him over here, and then I remembered that it's not in order. That's kind of a cop out, but it's hard. It's kind of no,
You said you wanted top 10, man.
It is, but it's because like we can't glean anything from it.
Yeah.
Aside from who's left out.
What was your surprise? And I'll tell you if I would have had them over them or not.
I know I used to have Gobert on my list, and I slid
top 20
in my top 20. Towards the end, and I slid him out because pretty much as soon as the rules have changed, his effectiveness has gone straight in the toilet, and also when it shouldn't, because he defends based on length and foot speed.
Yeah.
And then also opponents are shooting a pretty good percentage on him at the rim. Like Lonzo made a layup on him, and Lonzo can't make a layup in an empty gym. So.
Which was never the case before.
Exactly.
The last few seasons.
So yeah, he used to have a huge impact on defense, and that is just not happening now. So if that's how he hangs his hat, I had to slide him out.
Yeah, he has been a bit disappointing, but I do just think that he's an all NBA talent defensive player. Like he's going to be sort of challenging for defensive player of the year every year.
Except this one.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
I think in that case, I would have, if I still wanted a player like that, I would have swapped him for Adams based on. I mean, Adams has always been a great defender, but he's having a particularly good defensive season.
Okay, so you're doing it on a defensive end of the best defensive team this season.
Yeah. So I would have swapped those.
But yeah, Gobert, he's leading the league in effective field goal percentage.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
Yeah.
He's kicked up on that end. Yeah.
So offensively, he's got greater, but Utah as a team are below average on defense.
Yeah, they're struggling this year. They are really struggling this year, and I don't know if that is the emphasis change or if people are just
figured them out a bit.
Well, I don't know if it's because it does seem like there has been a significant shift in the way that people are playing. Like much more teams are going to that run and gun sort of style. So I don't know if it's just a bit of catch up to do with that. But I think that they will figure things out.
Right. Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, and Kyle Korver isn't that guy. They'll just get another slow shooter.
Yeah, well, no, he's not. But then... If you've got somebody else that can pick up some of the load on offense, you've got more energy for defense, and
and then also it's about replacement. He's replacing Alec Burks, who wasn't offering them too much. He's going to at least give them another player with gravity to go with Ingles,
and he knows what he's doing. Like he's not a great defender, but he knows where he should be.
Yeah, even if he can't stay in front of who he's meant to be in front of.
That's a good list.
You liked it?
Can't argue with anything now.
Approved.
Nice.
By the stats man. Stamped.
Bang.
Bang. Bang. Bang. I knew it.
God, I love that
God, I know you. So well.
Mike from 20 to 11. Bang. 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 Thomas, you're late.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit stressed now because you got the seal of approval from Statsman.
It's not easy to follow that.
Well, it's easy when you haven't got an order to your...
hey,
just freewheeling.
Freewheeling, yeah. Mine's in order. All right, so we go with 20. Chris Middleton.
Woo!
Oh, okay.
I'm putting it there.
He was a late person that I forgot to even have in my honourable mentions. I did remember him, then forget him again.
Check the stats.
Milwaukee are number one in the league in offense. So
yeah, he's in there.
He's very much a big part of that offense.
Overlooked,
and he's one of the most overlooked underrated players in the NBA.
Yeah, he had a really good playoffs,
and he had great playoffs. He had in this season he's just balling as well. So I'm like, you know what, he deserves.
All right,
good Paul.
Anyway,
we're not going to talk about all.
No, let's not. 19th, Bradley Beal, CJ McCollum, DeMar DeRozan,
CJ.
Yeah.
You are 16th, going way left.
I know.
Right.
I know I am.
All these shooters.
All shooters. 16th, Kyrie Irving. 15th, Jokic.
Okay.
We all got everything there.
Yeah.
14th, Oladipo. You all forgot about him.
Yeah.
13th, Jimmy Butler. 12th, Paul George. 11th, Klay Thompson.
Wow, 11th.
Yep. I'm putting up there.
Yeah,
I had him way lower than that.
Yeah.
I had him in my top 20 until I finalized it and swapped him out for a few other people. I think I might have had Oladipo there, actually.
You had Draymond in.
Yeah.
And not Clay.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that.
I think Draymond is more important to a team. I think that if you take any of those offensive players and put them with Draymond over Clay, so you take any of those, Bradley Beal, Middleton, all of those, DeRozan, all those guys, and put them with Clay or Clay and Draymond, whatever. You pick one of those two. I think Draymond has a much bigger impact on that team.
But that is that not like because of his uniqueness and the complementary sort of style that he has for shooters?
And I think both of them are complementary players.
Yeah.
But I think as a complementary player, I think Draymond gives you a bit more because of his versatility, the communication. A lot of his intangibles will make he's kind of a one-man defense in that sense.
The defense is the big thing for me because it's like on offense, if you swapped like a similar player type to him on offense, like Jokic, I think is probably the closest.
Yeah.
You might even get better. Yeah, and it's for me, Clay and Draymond are much better because of their situation.
Absolutely.
Like if you go on individual talent alone,
and that's why Draymond was in my top 10, I think, last year.
Yeah, I think
so. I've dropped him a lot.
Debated 10 as well.
And that's because his 3-point shot has just gone completely in the toilet. But where he still has a lot of value, and we saw this when the Warriors lost to the Pistons at the weekend. He actually makes the Warriors better offensively despite his lack of shooting with the screen setting and the passing. And I think those two things as well are huge for the Warriors offense, because as much as people were talking about like the impossible to guard Durant, Steph pick and roll, what we found when Kerr went to it in Durant's first season there was that Durant's a bad pick setter. And Draymond's an elite pick setter.
Yeah.
See, moving screener. Like, he's absolutely elite. He's one of the best in the league. And that is such an underrated ability in the NBA today.
But it's just goes to show, like, what they've been sort of brought up doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't Durant's job to be setting screens.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
absolutely.
Yeah, so it was also a rapport with him. But pick setting is also your rapport with your teammates.
Yeah.
And with the Golden State Warriors, they've always had good pick setters for some reason. In the past, Bogut was an amazing pick setter as well.
Yeah.
But then you have to think: is it the pick setter or is it the team? Is it the shooters and the slashers
and training and drilling people?
Yeah.
You know?
But when he's out, you see it because they can't replace that. They haven't got Bogut anymore to fill that void. They haven't got Pachulia anymore to fill that void. So now it's like you can see like. They still, Durant and Curry both had 28, 27, but they lost to the Pistons. Like, that's with 3 All-Stars, as everyone keeps telling us, they should still be able to beat these teams. But it's because the one that's missing does something that the rest of them don't, and they don't have anywhere else in the team.
It's hard to make these top 20 lists.
Very difficult.
Yep.
And
because you're comparing apples to oranges.
Exactly. We're comparing franchise players and complementary players and how much do you value as complementary players. They obviously work and they're very system dependent. So it's much like, Rondo was never a top 20 player. Or maybe top 15 player. It's been debatable. And he's always worked with the Boston Celtics, where he had a team with the best shooters at that position in the league. I think it's the same thing with Draymond. And, it's hard to value how special he is until he leaves. And this season, Golden State are second in the league in offensive efficiency, despite Draymond missing so many games. And Curry. So you have to think, how much of an impact does he have on that offense, on that team?
But... if you look at the win column, the most important column, like they're much lower than what they should be. Yeah. Because those guys have been out.
Yeah.
And he does give you that sort of ruggedness, like, I will not let us lose sort of thing. So Like for me, he is one of the best ever utility guys.
Yeah.
But like making a list like this, I'm thinking individuals who can get me a win.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like doesn't matter who else is on the team,
Mm-hmm.
who can get you that win. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why he slipped out for me. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I can see how you would make that argument, and I did contemplate having him slide out, but then I was just like, he's just too important. He's too good still. In a few years, I don't know if he'll have the same effect, but he's still just a very important, very, very important player in the league today.
I think that the standard for complementary players has risen with Paul George now, because he's a complementary player. He's not a franchise player anymore.
I still don't look at him as a complementary player, but yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, he's playing a complementary role, and I think that's what makes me not value Draymond as much. Just having that guy like that.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler now that a lot of stars are playing on the same team, it's like, well, actually, it's I see what you mean. Up the ante on the role player, quote unquote.
The Pippins.
Yeah. Damn.